influential than Nas, and I don't care what nobody say. I know I made a little boo-boo when you talk about the sales and all this type. I don't feel like getting into that rhetoric about where I started and where he started.
Well, you said that.
But listen, Nas was nice when I was in high school. When I was in 10th grade, Nas came out. Nas was dope. We appreciated him. He had a little bit run. But Nas always came up second to Jay and DMX and all these other people.
But lyrically, I'm gonna keep it a stack with you.
Yeah, but look how you dress. Look how you dress. You don't even be in the same places I be in. The things that we listen to.
I can be in the church house. You can't ever Nas lyrics. I don't know who told you that. Now look, y'all know you on that good stuff, but you're not seeing Nas. You're not seeing Nas, bro. Let's be real.
You got a bunch of 40 and 50-year-olds in their panties because I said I'm better than Nas.
It don't matter.
Look at you. Hey, I will run circles around Nas rapping right. I will run circles around Nas rapping right now. Right now, I will run Saturn around Nas right now rapping. Everybody knows that.
50 Cent just aired Jim Jones out mid-air, and it wasn't light work. He dropped rare throwback footage showing Jim going from calling Jay-Z soft to straight up begging for that Roc Nation deal. It's wild. Now, 50 never liked Jim or Jay, that's been clear, but he's always given props to Nas. So when Jim had the nerve to say he's better than Nas and even claimed he made Nas go viral again, 50 was done playing nice. But this ain't just about clowning Nas. What 50 exposed is a whole pattern. Jim's been flip-flopping for years, acting tough one day, then crawling back the next. He beefed with Jay-Z for over a decade, non-stop sneak disses, even slapped one of Jay's execs. But the second his career hit the wall, guess who he ran to? Jay-Z. Suddenly, Jay became his hero, and Jim was out here begging for a contract like none of that ever happened. Now 50's making it real clear. Jim Jones is all talk. No loyalty, no backbone, no real respect for the culture he claims to ride for. It's all frontin'. And let's not forget, the second he disrespected Nas, it opened the floodgates. People like 50 had receipts ready, and they dropped them fast. That move backfired bad. Now everybody's looking at Jim sideways. How did he go from calling Jay soft to basically bowing down for a spot on the team? 50 Cent doesn't stay quiet when he sees someone moving fake, and Jim just gave him the perfect excuse to go off. 50 Cent just hit Jim Jones with another savage blow, calling him Jay-Z's lapdog.
Sounds like he wanted to do one with 50 Cent. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like Jim.
Nah, I don't want to do nothing with that sucker. You heard? Leave him out of the conversation.
Jones, who is Jim Jones? Like, he's not on anyone's top 10 list. He's like no one's top 10 list, maybe not even his fan.
Jimmy popping all that bullshit. I be seeing you, Jimmy, talking about we Gucci boo boo here in the Gucci store. About we Gucci boo boo. The Black King was going fuck Jimmy like Marita Moneda.
After Jim tried to clown Nas, the spotlight swung right back on him and his wild history of switching sides. In case you missed it, Jim was out here saying he's better than Nas and even got into it with Shannon Sharpe, claiming he could run circles around Nas in the booth. He said Nas was fading out when it comes to rapping. Bold words that had people scratching their heads. And when other rappers checked him for coming at a legend like that, Jim still didn't back down. Instead, he doubled down and bragged about making Nas relevant again, saying Nas hadn't mattered since that classic beef with Jay-Z. Seriously? Well, since Jim dragged Jay into it, you knew 50 had to jump in and stir the pot. And he did just that, dropping an old video of Jim cheesing hard at Roc Nation HQ looking like he won the lottery. And the caption? Cold-blooded. 50 wrote, "Someone asked me if I have more enemies than friends. I thought about it and said, yes. Poor me. I'm suffering from success. LOL. That jab wasn't just for laughs, it stung. See, this goes deep. Jim Jones spent over a decade going hard at Jay-Z, diss tracks, interviews, even real street drama. He was all in on the hate, but the moment his career needed saving, boom, full 180. Suddenly Jay-Z's the GOAT and Jim's at his doorstep asking for a lifeline. That's the switch up 50 wanted everyone to see, and he's not letting it slide. Jim Jones trying to diss Nas? Yeah, that move's about to backfire big time, because now all his shady past is back in the spotlight. But let's rewind real quick. How did Jim go from dissing Jay-Z and even laying hands on one of his execs to later begging for a spot on Roc Nation? Let's break it down. It all kicked off back in 2002 when Cameron and Jim Jones got brought into Roc-A-Fella by Dame Dash. Jim even claimed Cam was supposed to be made vice president of the label, but Jay-Z wasn't having it.
Jay did the remix. It was the biggest alley-oop he could do for me. I understood a lot about music, and at that time, people were looking at the wrong way, and I was looking at the right way.
Cam told The Source at the time, "I don't even know if I'm a take on the role yet. Me and Dame still talking about it, but I mean, I can have it. It's mine." Jay shut that noise down real quick. He told The Source, "That's not taking effect as of yet. I think the talk is a little premature right now." Boom, tension from the start. And it only got worse. When Jay-Z hopped on the remix of Cameron and Jules Sand.
If I told you I was in the Roc Nation office, how would you feel about that? Huh? You think I was lying? That's clear enough for you?
Since Jim Montana's hit, oh boy, he used the verse to go at Nas. But Cam and Jim weren't with it. They straight up refused to drop Jay's remix and even cut his verse later on. Cam said he wasn't about to let Jay use their record to push his beef. That moment lit the fire. From there, it was war. Jim and Cam felt disrespected, like Jay treated them like they were just side pieces in his empire. Jim went full-on attack mode, throwing shots in interviews and calling Jay out on the radio. He painted Jay as some suit-wearing CEO who forgot what it means to come from the block. Jim wanted the world to see Dipset as raw, flashy, and straight-up street, while painting Jay-Z as this stiff corporate guy who left the hood behind. He pushed that image hard, always saying the streets didn't rock with Jay anymore. At first, Jay kept it quiet, no direct response, but everyone at Roc-A-Fella felt that tension bubbling. Then in 2006, everything shifted. Jim dropped "We Fly High," and that ballin' catchphrase took over the game. It was Jim's first real solo hit, and Jay-Z, he wasn't letting that moment slide. Jay clapped back with "Brooklyn High," a remix over Jim's own beat. But don't get it twisted. This wasn't no shout-out. Jay used the track to straight up clown Jim, dissing his flow, mocking his lyrics, even throwing shade at his famous ad-libs. It was cold, calculated, and cut deep. Jim didn't fold though. He fired back with a whole beef mix, flipping the beat again and going right at Jay. He called him old, out of touch, and soft. That's when the back and forth turned real, and the beef jumped off the mic and into the streets. By 2008, things went left. Jim was caught on security cameras laying hands on somebody inside a Louis Vuitton store, and it turned out to be Lenny Santiago, Jay-Z's longtime A&R. That wasn't no rap stunt. It was a real-life altercation. Jim got arrested and ended up pleading guilty to misdemeanor assault. This wasn't just rap drama. It turned real fast, with real consequences. The back-and-forth diss tracks kept stacking up, and both camps were on edge, watching every move. It became one of the most talked-about beefs in hip-hop, and tension was sky-high. Now, when that Louis Vuitton incident went down, with Jim throwing hands on Jay-Z's longtime A&R, Jay stayed silent publicly, not a word. But behind the scenes, oh, people got the message loud and clear. This wasn't about music anymore. It got personal. A few months later, Jay finally spoke, but not directly. He sat down with Double Extra Large for an interview about the state of rap music, and that's when he fired some slick shots right at Jim. Jay didn't hold back. He said tracks like Jim's "Nah, Nah, 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 Nah" were pulling the culture down. He went on. I mean, like Jim Jones, for example. And I don't say this just because we don't see eye to eye. He made "Nah, Nah, 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 Nah." Then he added, "What's the difference between that and songs like Smiley Face or Soulja Boy's stuff?"
Did a little something for you in the studio. Then he had something to Old Boy.
This is Old Boy's already #1?
Yeah, it's popping.
This, all right.
I listened to it and I was like, erase that.
What that Jim Jones, man?
Hip-hop, of course, you know, is a competitive sport. But on the other end of it, it's like certain people shouldn't be able to say your names until they've done something in the genre of music. I've done too much in this music to even have to answer that question. Like Jim Jones, who is Jim Jones? Like, he's not on anyone's top 10 list. He's not no one's top 10 list, maybe not even his family. I was saying last night, it's like the 8th guy on the bench just screaming at Jordan, like, you a bum. Like, you want to be like the 9th guy on the bench. I'm not even worried about you.
That comment hit hard. Jay basically lumped Jim in with ringtone rap and said he was dragging hip-hop into the mud. And even though he tried to make it sound casual, everybody knew exactly who that was aimed at. Jay saying "na na na" could have been called smiley face. That was cold, and the way he did it, smooth, calculated. He never had to get loud or messy. Jay played it smart. While Jim was wild and in public, Jay made him look goofy without ever stepping off the throne. After that shot, everything went quiet. From 2010 to 2015, there were no diss tracks, no street scuffles, just a whole lot of silent tension bubbling under the surface. But in 2015, Dipset tried to bring the smoke back. They dropped a freestyle over Diddy's legendary Victory beat. And yep, both Cam and Jim came swinging at Jay-Z and Roc Nation. They clowned the whole Roc Nation brunch scene, called the label industry-controlled, and even slipped in some slick jabs at Beyonce. Cam rapped, "Having money don't make you a real one. You stepped on the court, you're gonna play my game. Just take shoddy advice and say my name." That was a straight-up bait, trying to drag Jay back into the mud. But Jay? He was way past that. By then, he was a billionaire, married to Beyonce, buying Basquiat's, launching Tidal, and running sports deals. Jim and Cam were still shouting from the bleachers, but Jay wasn't even looking their way. Then a clip resurfaced, and it shut everything down. Jay compared himself to Michael Jordan and said Jim was like the 8th guy on the bench, screaming at the MVP. No yelling, no diss tracks, just a classy KO. That moment said it all. Jay wasn't even looking back, while Jim and Cam kept shouting for attention. And this right here, this is where Jim had to face the truth. He was out here embarrassing himself, still trying to diss Jay. And what he did next? That's exactly why 50 Cent is clowning him so hard now.
First of all, let's get right to it. There seems to be some drama. You and The Roc, Jay-Z, you try to diss. You did diss him. I diss nobody. You dissed him.
I dissed Michael Jordan.
Oh man, we just there's no drama, man. No, we're gonna get to that. Shouts to Dave Dash, who started Roc-A-Fella Records. If y'all don't know, he's responsible for Roc-A-Fella getting off the floor. That started in Harlem. You know what I'm talking about?
Ever, he's never been talked about like this ever in his life.
Now, has Nas reached out to you?
You did. The last time he was in some this where people were comparing when him and Jay was beating on him.
Jay to begging for a seat at Roc Nation. It finally happened in February 2017. After 13 years of nonstop beef, Jim signed with the very man he used to slam. And he didn't do it low-key either. He made sure everybody saw it, bragging loud about getting that Roc Nation brunch invite. Yep, the same bougie event he used to drag. Suddenly he was hyping Jay up like he was the greatest to ever do it. This was the same Jay-Z that Jim once called soft. The same Jay he said sold out the streets. The same Jay whose friend Jim once slapped. Now he's out here calling Jay his role model? That switch up was wild. But Jay stayed smooth. No welcome party, no big statement, no congrats post, nothing flashy, just one photo, one! And even in that pic, Jay looked like he'd rather be anywhere but next to Jim. Jim finally made it to the table. But Jay made it crystal clear they weren't equals. And they never would be. Jim was just another name on the Roc Nation roster. No spotlight, no VIP treatment. And that's what's really crazy. Because for 15 years straight, from 2002 to 2017, Jim built his whole brand off.
Did for Nas probably never been done for him in his life. He's never been that viral at all, ever.
Some people shouldn't be able to say your names until they've done something in the genre of music. I've done too much in this music to even have to answer that question. Like Jim Jones, who is Jim?
Jim always tried to set Dipset up as the total opposite of Roc Nation. Loud, rebellious, flashy, and straight from the streets. He built that whole image on not needing Jay-Z, acting like he was the raw truth while Jay was just some clean-cut boardroom rapper. But in the end, that talk folded real quick when the money got involved. The second Jim needed that deal, the whole image crumbled. Jay never had to clap back, never had to respond to all the trash talk. He just waited. And when Jim finally bent the knee, Jay gave him the meeting, signed the papers, and kept it moving like it was just another Tuesday at the office. That's the kind of quiet power move that hits hard. And that's exactly what 50 Cent's been calling out. Jim spent years dissing Jay, only to end up chasing his approval. Most people might have let it slide. But then Jim messed up. He disrespected Nas, a certified legend. And that's when everything changed. That one move gave 50 the perfect excuse to start unloading all the receipts. And they hit heavy. Years of flip-flopping, fake loyalty, and chasing clout, all out in the open now. The big question? Is this gonna wreck Jim's career for good? Can he recover from this? Or is this where the story ends? Right now, it's looking shaky, and the whole game's watching his next step. If you're feeling this kind of raw breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, drop a comment, and share this with someone who loves the drama. Catch you in the next video. We're just getting started.